In this lesson, we are going to connect to MongoDB database. The first step is creating a database. We have two options: installing MongoDB locally on the computer using this address. You just need to go here, click on download, follow the instruction to install MongoDB locally. Or the simpler way is to use Atlas MongoDB. It's a cloud MongoDB server. Just click on try free at this address, sign up with Google, select your Google account, and there you will be redirected to cloud.mongodb.com. At the very first step, MongoDB asks you to create a cluster. So you need to create a shared free cluster, follow the default options, and click on create cluster. After that, you will have a cluster, free cluster here, and it's time to create a database. Click on browse collections, create database, enter database name to whatever you like. I'm setting to TS MongoDB. Enter test in the collection name, and so don't forget to copy this here and go to your VS Code. Inside the backend folder, right-click new file, create a file with this name .env. It should be in the backend folder. And then type MongoDB underline URI equal to, we need to enter the URI here. I just press enter and put the name of DB as a temporary here. It should be deleted after completing the connection. So just put it here and click on create to create your database. Next step is in the network access. Click on add IP address and enter 0.0.0/0. Enter like all as optional, and by having this, we can send requests from our local machine to this server. Click on confirm. You will have this record. The next step is in the database access. Click on add new user, enter TS Amazona user, copy this, paste it here, and enter your password. Enter your password here too. Make it something secure. Then scroll down, find add built-in rules and select read and write to any database and click on add user. Next step, click on database, select connect and select connect your application. Copy the connection string and close it. As you see, it says we are deploying your changes, so you need to wait a while to apply this. In the meantime, I'm going to create my MongoDB URI. Paste the value here. As you see, we have 1, 2, and 3.2 enter information. Here is the database name. Just put it right after .NET/ and before question mark. Here is the database name. Database user, enter it in the user section. You need to get rid of angle brackets here. And my password, put it in the my password. Get rid of this data and save it. After This lesson, I will delete this database, so don't use this one because it's not gonna work. You need to create your own user and password and database. And here, as you see, there is no waiting or processing, so the database is ready. To make sure that the database works as we want, you can install MongoDB campus at this address mongodb.com/products/campus. Click on download and follow the instruction and open it. Here you have new connection. Copy the connection string entirely, copy and paste it in the URI part here, like this, and click on connect. It's connecting to the cluster on MongoDB. Aha. So when you have this, it means that the connection string is correct. Awesome. Let's go for the next step. The next step is installing packages to connect to the database. We are going to use free packages. Open a new terminal, go to backend folder, and install .env to access the .env file to read MongoDB connection. Mongoose, it's a ORM to access to MongoDB, and type goes to implement typing for the database model. Press enter to install them. So in the dependency section, I have typegoes, mongoose, and express. Next step is in the index.ts. At the very beginning, right after app, at the very beginning, call .env config and import .env from .env. By calling config function, the values inside the env file will be fetched. Next step is defining MongoDB URI. We try to fetch from the .env file using process.env.mongodb URI. If it doesn't exist, use the MongoDB connection string on the local computer. Import mongoose from mongoose and call set function of mongoose to set the options of a strict query to true. By having this, we do not get any deprecation warning in the code. And the last step to connect to the MongoDB is calling connect function on the MongoDB object and passing the MongoDB URI as parameter to this function. We use then and catch. If everything is okay, show this message, connected. If there is an error, show error in MongoDB. Let's check the result here in the backend. As you see, I'm getting connected to MongoDB. Next step is creating product model. Inside the backend folder, src, right click, new file, models folder. In the models folder, right click, new file, and the file name is product model.ts. For defining a model, we use typegoes, import model options, prop, and model get model for class from typegoes, call model options, and define the schema options to timestamps true. By having this, the model that we define here will have created at and last updated at field in each record. Then define a class and export it. The class name is product. Let's define the first field, and it is ID and it is required. So I'm using exclamation mark. ID will be generated automatically by MongoDB. Let's go for next field, and it's the name. The name is required, and I'm using @prob using type goes to set the validation for this field. Here I'm setting required to true. Let's go for next one. It is slug required and unique. Set unique index to true using prob of type goes. For other fields, I'm adding image, brand, category, description, price, content stock, and rating. These fields are numbers. The default value is 0 and they are required. And description, category, brand, image, they are required of type string. To get rid of this error about decorators, go to tsconfig in backend folder and add two settings: experimental decorator to true and emit decorator metadata to true. By having this setting, you will not get any warning here. Let's go for the last step in product model, and it's using get model for class. At the very end, export const product model, and this model comes from get model for class function from type goes, and we pass the product class that we have defined here as parameter to this. So the return value from this function is a Mongo's model, so we can use it in our code. Good, we successfully implemented model, and the next step is creating a product router. So far, we have two routes inside the index.ts /API/products and /API/products/slug. But we are going to make the routes modular. To do that, we need to go to src folder, create a specific folder for routers, and inside routers, create a new file for product router. Create a new file for product router.ts. Inside product router, first of all, we need to define product router from express.router and export it. Import express from express. Next step is defining a route. Here is the way to define it. Put product router, and the method is get. The address is /. So when I use it in the index.ts, the final address should be /API/products. The second parameter for route is a function that handles the request at this address. But I need to install async handler package to handle async operations that I'm going to do here to fetch data from the database. So open a new terminal, go to backend folder, and install Express Async Handler using this command. Here we are getting this error message because type goes is not compatible with the MongoDB version 7 completely. We use -- force for it. So run it -- force. So here we can use async handler. In the second parameter, define async handler imported. Import async handler from express async handler package. And inside async handler, define async function that accepts request and response. And inside that, we call find method on product model. Import product model from models folder and return it using rest.json to the frontend. Save the code and let's duplicate it for defining a slug. So put /slug/colon slug. So to access to this API, we need to have an API like this, /API/slug/ let's say t-shirt. It's the slug of product. Inside the code, we need to find slug equal to rec.params.slug. And here it's a product. And this function is find one. We are going to find one record, not an array. Then check if product exists, return it using rest.json. Otherwise, set the status code of this response to 404 and send this JSON message product not found. Save the code and we are ready to use it inside the index.ts. Here, find the two routes, get rid of them, and replace them with this single line of code, app.use for /API/products. This router will handle all requests to this address. Import product router from routers folder. We do not need this one. And this one too. Great. We successfully implemented product router and we are ready to go for next step. If I go to localhost colon 4000 /API/products, I have empty array. It means that it works because in the database we do not have any products. Let's add sample products. To do that, I'm going to add a new route, new file in routers, and the name of this one is seed router. Inside seed router, create seed router from express.router, import express from express, then call get function on seed router, and for this API /API/seed, we are going to use this handler, import async handler from express async handler, and inside that define async function that accept request from express and response from express to. Inside that, call delete many on product model to delete all records on the product. Here the empty object means that there is no filter. Delete all. Import product model from models folder, and then call insert many on product model to insert an array of products. Import products, import sample products from data, and then send back. You can use JSON here. Send back the created products. Let's test it. Instead of /API, let's use the seed router inside index. At the end, we need to export it. Export seed router. So go back to index.ts, duplicate this one, and rename it to seed, and make it seed router. Press tab to import it. Let's test this API. slash API slash seed. Here I have created products. So if I click back and refresh, I have list of products at this IP address. Here I have sample slug, copy this, put slash slug slash, paste the slug here. We have sample product here. Good, we've successfully implemented MongoDB in this application and we are ready to use it in the next lesson. Before going for the next lesson, just check the application. Here we have product, but if I click on it, I will not get the product because I need to go to product page and go to use product details and change it, the URL to slash slug slash the value of a slug. Save the code and refresh. Awesome. I have product. Great. We successfully implemented database MongoDB connection in this lesson. Don't forget to go to .gitignore in the backend folder and add .env here. So you shouldn't have .env as a part of your Git repository.